Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
It's double trouble, double the fun at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. See the largest antelope on Earth, the giant eland, and the ugliest creature on Earth, the African warthog. There's so much to see and do, including the Midwest's only drive-through safari. Feed the animals, see live educational shows, feel the excitement, have your picture taken with a python or cockatoo, feel the adventure. Shop the Simba Lodge gift shop with items available from around the globe. Visit the snack bar or picnic facilities. Enjoy a pony or camel ride. Or cheer your favorite porker on to victory in the famous Pork Chop Down. Bring your family to see the rare and exotic animals at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. Just take Route 2 to the Route 53 North exit and follow the sign. Only 17 miles west of Cedar Point via Route 6. Open every day, rain or shine.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know.
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
All right, and welcome back to The Balance. 1 hour in the books. Thank you to Matthew Embry, WSBT in South Bend, official Balance contributor for Indy Car, college football, college basketball. It is March Madness. We are taking a break from the madness right now to get into some NASCAR talk, and we also did some Indy Car talk, certainly up at the Circuit of Americas in Austin. First time they've ever been there, the Formula One track, Indy Car this weekend. And, of course, now it's time to get into the NASCAR segment with Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor. The West Coast swing is over, and we're rolling into the favorite short track I know of Steve's. Certainly enjoy as well. And we always make jokes about the hot dogs, but it is part of what Martinsville is. But before we get into that, Steve, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good today. How about yourself?
Doing all right. So your Florida State Seminoles hang on to live another day. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't honestly know what they're gonna do. I think it was interesting. Just to switch gears real quick, is Liberty here in Virginia were able to kick Mississippi also. So I think that probably shocked a lot of people, but. I think there's a lot of strong teams out there still left to go. if they can make it, I think it would probably be a Cinderella story. We've not always been as good in basketball as we have been in some other sports, and then again, we're not doing so well in football either these days. So maybe this is our redemption into getting our sports teams back on track down there in Tallahassee.
I certainly hope so. And by the way, this guy picked Liberty. That's why in the Balance radio group that you failed to make an appearance in, publicly shame. But I'm dominating, and that's because I picked a team like Liberty. So let's talk a little bit about the West Coast Swing. Give us a recap about that, and we'll get into our favorite short track, and that is Martinsville.
I think the biggest stories out of the West Coast Swing is Kyle Busch winning 2 out of 3 out there, getting his 200th win across 3 NASCAR National Series out there. A couple drivers probably need to up their game. I think Kevin Harvick is a driver that we've seen him go to the West Coast and dominate at a place like Phoenix. That team has yet to go to victory lane, so right now for Ford camp, it looks like Penske Racing is going to be the ones at the top. Stewart-Haas Racing right behind them. I think that they're still gathering up and trying to, not only with the changes of the car, but the changes in the packages of these cars. It looks like Penske right now has it all put together, but I would assume and I would expect Stewart-Haas Racing to come up very quickly. Kevin Harvick did finish 4th out there in California, but, again, we've seen him go to the West Coast before, and we've seen him be the dominant factor not only at a place like Las Vegas, but Phoenix, and we just didn't see that out of them or out of Kevin Harvick, although he ran good. I think it's just a matter of time before we see him go to victory lane, but right now we're talking about Penske Racing, we're talking about Kyle Busch, obviously, being at the top of the points, also getting his 200th win, 2 out of 3 races out there, plus some Xfinity and truck stuff that he won. So I think he's the dominant factor in the sport right now. For Joe Gibbs Racing, I think, Martin Truex Jr., who came over from Furniture Racing, has, there's some processes and some changes that, when they went away from Furniture Row, they were able to do a little bit of their own thing. Now they're under the JGR umbrella, and him and Colburn are kind of locked in the box, so to speak. And I think that's hurt some of their runs this year already. But I would think with them, they're eventually going to figure this whole thing out in that box that they're confined to, or JGR has a process of working in, and they'll overcome some of their runs that they've had already this year.
Well, let's go into Martinsville. As we mentioned, certainly an awesome short track, a lot of history behind Martinsville. Talk with us about Martinsville, the short track. For those that may not know anything about them, we'll get into this truck race that's coming up today and some elements around that in Xfinity, and then we'll get into the Monster Energy Cup Series, the big boys, if you will.
Well, Martinsville, the only active track still left from the original scheduled in 1949. It predates even NASCAR itself opening up in 1947. It's been a half-mile bull ring here in Virginia that the Clay Earls and the Earls family built up over the years. Now ISC and his grandson, I'm sorry, not his grandson, but another family member is now the president of the track out there, but it's under the ISC banner. It still has very close quarter racing out there, a lot of beating and banging. Just talking to Brooks, the PR director out there a couple of days ago, and, it's just one of those tracks that people, if you haven't come to short track racing and you haven't seen short track racing in a place like Martinsville, then you have to go. The hot dogs are an addition to the spectacle that happens out there, but we've seen Truex and Logano and Kenseth, Hamlin and Elliott in the previous years go at it, go hard. Somebody ends up in the wall. Somebody ends up mad. And if you haven't been to a race at Martinsville Speedway, then it's all the more reason to go.
Well, let's get into Gander Truck Series. It's still got the Camping World on my tongue, but the Gander Truck Series this afternoon at 2:00, immediately after the Xfinity race. This is a short race, if you will, a fast race, if you will. But one of the things unique, they really asked for the truck drivers, as far as rookie truck drivers, to go through kind of a training session, if you will. Talk to us a little bit about the rookies in the Truck Series at Martinsville.
Well, this is something that, we've not really seen in the past. Typically, there's a rookie orientation at most of these tracks that drivers are mandated to attend, especially if it's their first time at these tracks. But to have an actual rookie practice all to themselves is a little bit different. But the thing with this is that the drivers are getting exponentially younger all the time. Martinsville is a place that you can come to. You can run under 18 years old. It used to be that you could go to a lot of these tracks and run under 18, but, NASCAR has kind of clamped down on that. But as the drivers continue to get younger and their experience levels are more on those basic levels when they move into the Truck Series, and I'm not saying they're basic because they haven't been running, but it's basic in the fact that sometimes this is their first race that they can enter in a National Series event, so they have the basic understanding. The talent pool is getting better, but they're getting younger. And NASCAR, I think, is kind of finally keying in on this, and we're starting to, and maybe we'll see some more rookie sessions develop, because I know a lot of times we hear from veterans out there that when they come to tracks like this, and you have a 16 or 17-year-old running around these tracks, this potentially is their first event that they've been in a National Series event, and sometimes they ruin a Veterans Day, somebody that's running for the point series. So I think it's just more all the reasons that we need to have these rookie orientations and maybe these rookie practices all for themselves to allow them to go out there and get acclimated to these racetracks before they're actually out there either in practice or in a race or in qualifying or something like that, or run a points contenders day. But, with the crop that's coming out there, we've got Tyler Ankrum out there. We've got a lot of drivers that are just Raphael Lessard from Canada that'll be in it this weekend. So a lot of these drivers, they've not been in a Truck Series before, or they have limited experience in these trucks. So honestly, I think it's a good thing that they're doing this, and I think that I'm hoping to see this expanded into the future.
Well, let's talk about today's truck race. Who are we looking for? Who are we looking at? Who's going to be strong? Who's going to be weak? And then we'll get into the Xfinity race today as well.
I think when you come to a place like this, you're going to have to talk about somebody like Johnny Sauter. He has shown a lot of strength on these tracks. Thor Sport is looking to now that he's back over there with them. I think that he's also looking to get back into victory lane with them. Somebody like Matt Crafton is somebody you're going to have to continue to look at this afternoon. And I mean, there's just a crop of drivers out there that at this point that when you start looking, you really have to look more strongly at the veterans. They're the ones that are going to have that are going to be able to not even control their trucks, but they're also going to be the ones that are going to stay out of the most action in it that could potentially ruin their race today. But I think I'm really looking at somebody like a Johnny Sauter or Matt Crafton this afternoon to go to victory lane just because of their veteran status. And Thor Sport is looking to get back on top of their game. I mean, they were very dominant in the fact when they were Toyota, but since they've moved over to Ford, Grant Enslinger, another teammate, is leading the points standings right now. But overall, I think Thor Sport is actually looking to recapture some of their spark that they had when they were in Toyota. So yeah, and again, look at Johnny Sauter, look at Matt Crafton.
We're talking with Steve Wilson, Editor-in-Chief, Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor. Let's move on over to the Xfinity race, also happening today, 1 o'clock down there in Martinsville. Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, Brandon Jones, Austin Cedric, Michael Annett, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gregson, and Ryan Sieg. And the round